Imagine us sitting quietly, tea in hand, sharing the gentle wisdom of a long life. My dear ones, after I passed 70, I started noticing little hints in my daily life that whispered secrets about how long I might live. We often think fate is sealed by birthdays and blood tests, but sometimes everyday moments speak louder. Let me tell you what I've learned. There are 6 surprisingly simple signs, some physical, some emotional, that quietly predict our longevity. These are not magic. They're insights confirmed by scientists, woven into the fabric of our lives. So lean closer and listen to these truths shaped by both research and experience. What really determines how long you'll live after 70? Join me, an old woman with decades of wisdom, as I reveal this powerful and scientifically backed signs that predict longevity in old age. This isn't just about science, it's about purpose, reflection, and making the most of the time you have left. Prepare to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Let this video be your guide to a more meaningful, vibrant, and mindful life after 70. Watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with someone who needs this. They say once you turn 70, the clock ticks a little louder. Every morning feels more sacred. Every ache, every memory, every sunrise feels heavier. But let me tell you something I've learned. Sitting on this porch, watching life go by for over 7 decades, how long you'll live after 70 isn't just written in your genes. It's written in your habits, your heart, and your hope. Now, I'm not here to make guesses. I'm here to share signs that predict this scientifically backed signs that quietly, but powerfully predict how long you'll walk this earth after 70. These signs aren't just statistics, they are mirrors to your soul. And as I share them with you, I'll share stories, real stories, from a life lived long and lessons I wish someone had whispered in my ear when I was younger. So pull up a chair, let's talk. First, let me talk about walking. Picture me at 75, walking in the garden with my old friend Helen. I remember how quickly or slowly we strolled and how alive that felt. It turns out, as scientists have discovered, your walking speed is a powerful indicator of vitality. In one large study of older adults, those who walked at a brisk pace, about a meter per second, tended to live longer than expected for their age and sex. In plain words, if you can still take confident, steady steps without slowing down too much, it's a blessing for your years ahead. I once had my doctor time me as I walked down the hallway. She explained that walking engages your heart, lungs, muscles, and even your nerves all at once. When I walked faster than 1 meter per second, her eyes lit up. That meant I likely had longer survival than expected. Of course, don't panic at the tape measure. This isn't an exam. But consider this gently. If we still move with purpose and a bit of spring in our step, our bodies are telling a story of strength. When I walk, I remind myself to savor the sky and hold my belly warm, but it's also good to notice how the earth meets my feet. Walking isn't just travel, it's a tiny test of your whole system's health. Researchers found that even for people over 75, a quick gait was as telling about life expectancy as a whole battery of medical tests. So every time you step out into the sunlight or shuffle across the kitchen, think of it as more than routine. It's your body gently answering, how much life is left in me? They did a study, you know. Researchers found that how fast an elderly person walks is one of the most accurate predictors of how long they'll live. They call it gait speed. Strange, isn't it? But think about it. When your legs slow down, your heart slows down too. Not just physically, spiritually. When I was 75, I noticed my steps got shorter. I told myself I was just tired. But truth was, I had stopped moving and started existing. Then one morning, I saw an 83-year-old woman walking faster than me in the park. She nodded at me with a twinkle in her eye. That was the day I started walking again. Not just with my feet, but with purpose. Let me ask, how fast do you walk when no one's watching? Because your steps, they speak. They tell your heart, we're still going. They tell your brain, we're not done yet. So every morning, walk. Even if it's slow, walk like you mean it. Walk like life's still worth chasing. Now, dear, let's talk about strength, specifically in your hands. You know how I can still open stubborn jars with ease? There's more meaning to that than stubbornness. Doctors say grip strength is like a quick report card on your health. Believe it or not, how firmly you can squeeze something, say a teacup or your little granddaughter's hand, predicts a lot about your future. Extensive research has found a strong, direct link between grip strength and overall mortality. In a review of studies, scientists observed that people with weaker grips tended to have higher risks of falling ill or even passing away. It may seem odd, but imagine your hand shaking a jar of distant years. A weak grip hints at frail muscles all over, and that can signal troubles ahead. I recall my grandpa, who lived to be 90. Even then, he could crush a peach. It was more than show. Researchers say grip strength forecasts future health in areas like bone strength, balance, and even mental sharpness. Think of your muscles like garden vines. Strong vines hold firm against storms and nourish healthy leaves. Likewise, keeping our muscles, even our hands, strong helps protect us. So when I do my morning exercises, I hold onto a light weight and squeeze it gently. It feels simple, but it's a promise to my future self. Next time you wave or pour tea, feel your own strength there. It really matters. Stronger grip today often means more autumns to come. And what about balance, my dear? Ah, balance. This one snuck up on me. I remember slipping on a rug years ago. Nothing serious, but enough to startle my heart. Well, science tells us that being able to stand unassisted on one foot for about 10 seconds is no small matter. It's a surprisingly sharp predictor of longevity. One study in Brazil followed middle-aged and older folks for 7 years. Those who couldn't balance on one foot for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of death compared to those who could keep steady. Imagine that. Simply having to hold yourself upright on one leg speaks volumes about your health. Now, I won't have you run around testing yourself. That's not a grandmother's advice. But think of how you stand and walk. Slow balance could indicate hidden weaknesses, whether in nerves or strength. I started practicing gentle exercises, like holding onto the chair lightly while lifting one foot at a time. Every morning I do a little dance of steadiness. I once told my nurse about it, and she smiled, saying, "Balance isn't vanity, it's vitality." Indeed, those tiny wobble-free breaths we take are as sweet as our quiet mornings with friends. Maintaining balance is like tending to the roots of our life. It helps keep us upright through all seasons. After we stand strong, let's drift into the cozy topic of sleep. Ah, sleep. It's like a lullaby, isn't it? My heart still remembers how, after my husband passed, nights felt empty and long. I learned that sleeping well is more precious than I thought. Researchers found that poor sleep quality actually raises the risk of dying. In one community study, folks who reported bad sleep were nearly 1.4 times more likely to die in the following years than those who slept soundly. Perhaps not surprising. After all, sleep is when our bodies heal and mind resets. Without it, even a granny as wise as me finds her energy drained. So I treat sleep like a daily ritual. I make a warm cup of chamomile, dim the lights, and breathe deeply. I remind myself that counting sheep is not wasteful. It's repair in disguise. And if I feel sleepless, I take it as a gentle warning. Too much tossing and turning can wear on the heart and soul. Science backs this up. Disturbed sleep ties into heart trouble and other risks. So when we tuck ourselves in, let's do it mindfully. Turning off worries, putting away the phone, maybe even humming a lullaby, these little acts can keep our nights peaceful. After all, a refreshing dawn of life may depend on the quality of our night. Now, love, it's time to breathe out and speak of something deep: relationships. You know, I've lost friends and made new ones over all these years. And I learned this: the company we keep feeds our very being. Astonishingly, modern research and old studies agree. Satisfying relationships are more predictive of a long life than almost anything else. A famous Harvard study followed people for decades and found that those who were happiest in their relationships at age 50 were, by age 80, the healthiest of all. It seems our hearts know this truth. Loneliness can quietly chip away at us, while love and friendship bolster our strength. Even the World Health Organization treats social isolation as seriously as smoking or obesity. Let me put it plainly: hugging a loved one, hearing a friend's laughter over tea, even sharing old photographs, these acts knit a protective shawl around our bodies. Think of it as a warm blanket on a cold night. Researchers estimate that people with strong social bonds live about 50% longer than those isolated. Those numbers may make you blink, but our lives themselves tell the same story. I have my bridge club, my church circle, my stray cat who never misses my porch. All these threads keep my spirit alive. Even if you feel quiet, a kind word or a gentle smile with a neighbor can strengthen you inside. The next time you pick up the phone or invite someone over, remember, you're not just being nice, you're fueling your own vitality. Finally, my dears, let's speak of the heart and soul, our attitude. After 70 years of looking at life's ups and downs, I've learned that how we carry ourselves inside matters as much as our body. I admit, I used to worry a lot. I thought being cautious was wisdom, but studies whisper another message. Optimism truly lights the path forward. In fact, one large study of older women ages 50 to 79 found that the most optimistic women lived about 5.4% longer, roughly 4.5 years than the least optimistic ones. Yes, science measured it. Expecting good things, smiling through challenges, even taking life a bit less seriously, adds years to our story. This isn't to say we ignore life's sorrows. Heavens, we all have them. But if we can cultivate hope and gratitude, we might just stretch time in our favor. Every morning, I thank the sun for its light. I greet my roses and feel lucky they bloom. These small hopes gather like pennies in a jar. And when the sadness comes, I allow it. But I also remember that I have survived worse than this moment. So I tell you, hold joy like a flame in your chest. Share stories that make you laugh. Recall adventures you once dreamed, and keep a twinkle in your eye. The science backs it up. Pessimism is linked with shorter lives, while a joyful outlook is linked with extra years. So there, my dears, 6 humble signs wrapped in a grandmother's yarn and sealed by science. Your steady steps, strong hands, sure footing, peaceful sleep, loving bonds, and hopeful heart. None of these is an absolute promise. Life remains a tapestry of chance and choice, but tending to each of these threads can knit us a warmer future. As we finish our tea, know that every day is a gift, to walk with care, to grip with strength, to balance with grace, to sleep with calm, to love deeply, and to believe in brighter mornings. That, in my experience, is how we live not just longer, but richer days, a truth both life and science have taught me. Let me add this 5 extra signs for you. Sign number 1, your social connections, who will still call you tomorrow. There's a Harvard study that spanned over 80 years, and you know what they found? Strong relationships predict a longer, happier life, more than money, fame, or even cholesterol levels. At 72, I lost a dear friend, not to death, but to silence. We had a disagreement, and let pride stand between us. For 6 years, we didn't speak. When he passed, I sat at the edge of my bed and cried, not for him, but for the time we lost. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a disease. It creeps in slowly, and it eats from within. The body listens when the heart is starved of love. Question, who haven't you called in a while? What grudge are you still feeding instead of your peace? Start rebuilding, start forgiving, start connecting, because those who love deeply live longer. Sign number 2, your purpose. Do you still have a why? They once asked centenarians, people over 100, what keeps them alive. You know what most of them said? I still have something to do. Purpose isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. When I turned 80, I thought my days of being useful were over. But then my great-grandson asked me to tell him stories. Every Sunday we'd sit and I'd tell him about life, war, peace, love. I became his storyteller. That small purpose gave me years. Question, what wakes you up in the morning besides pain? Purpose doesn't have to be grand. Maybe it's a flower you water, a poem you write, a neighbor you check on. Purpose is the soul's oxygen. Without it, we suffocate, even if our hearts are still beating. Sign number 3, your optimism, the life inside your mind. Scientists have found that optimistic seniors live up to 15% longer, and it's not magic, it's mindset. I met a woman once, 92 years old. She had cancer, arthritis, and could barely see. But when you asked her how she was, she'd smile and say, I'm wonderful, I woke up, didn't I? Let that sink in. She wasn't ignoring her pain, she just chose to focus on her presence. I've learned that your thoughts shape your biology. If you think your best days are gone, they are. But if you believe every day is a chance, even in small ways, life expands. Question, do you speak more about regrets or hopes? Rewire your words, rewrite your story, because the mind that believes heals. Sign number 4, your diet. Not just what you eat, but how you eat it. Let me be honest, I grew up eating fried meat, sugary tea, and too much salt. At 74, my doctor told me I had high blood pressure. I laughed and said, at my age, who cares? He looked me in the eye and said, your grandchildren care. Food isn't just fuel, it's medicine, or it's poison. Studies show that elderly people who eat more fruits, vegetables, omega-3 fats, and fiber live longer. But here's what they don't tell you. It's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it. When you eat slowly, when you bless your food, when you eat around laughter, that's when food becomes life. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly enjoyed your meal? Eat like you want to live, not just long, but well. Sign number 5, your resilience, how you bounce back from storms. Let me tell you something, life after 70 isn't easy. There's loss, grief, aches, fears. But there's something that separates those who live longer from those who fade early. Resilience. That ability to bend, but not break. Science calls it psychological elasticity. I call it soul strength. When my wife passed away, I thought I would go with her. I sat for weeks, numb, but then I remembered her words. You better keep living for the both of us. So I did. I learned to cook for one. I learned to laugh again. I learned to love silence. What has life thrown at you lately? And more importantly, did it stop you? If you're still here, friend, you've already won half the battle. Now rise again, slowly but surely. Let me leave you with this. The length of your life after 70 isn't a mystery, it's a message. One written in your steps, your smile, your circle, your spirit. If you walk with purpose, love with intention, eat with reverence, and rise after every fall, then my dear friend, you may just live longer than you ever imagined, and better than you ever dreamed. If this message touched your heart, if even one of these signs made you pause and think, then please, like this video, subscribe and share it with someone you love. Maybe someone who's lost hope. Maybe someone who's forgotten how much life is left in them. Leave a comment below. Which sign spoke to you the loudest today? Let's build a community where aging is not feared, but revered. I'll be here every day, sharing more stories, more wisdom, and more truth from the road less traveled. Until then, keep walking, keep loving, keep living,